guys, it is Skylar. So today I wanted to recommend some of my favorite movies. I have a lot of favorite movies. I kind of consider myself a movie fanatic. I really enjoy films. I was actually going to minor in film studies, especially like I really enjoyed movies when I didn't have a lot going on in my life socially. High school. Just kind of wanted to pick out some of my favorites and recommend them to you. I really think that anybody would enjoy these movies no matter your age, and these are just some of my favorites out of like 5,000 of my favorites. But yeah, and so if you're kind of just looking to have a movie night and you just want to watch a really good movie that you can kind of just get sucked into and not think about the outside world. So if you want to find out what they are, then keep watching. The first one that I want to recommend to you is Less Than Zero. This was made in 1987. It's crazy because I feel like it kind of foreshadows what Robert Downey Jr. was going to go through. I really feel like in this particularly, if you have just graduated high school or you're in college and you're, you know, at that age, this will be super, I think, beneficial for you to watch. And it basically stars Andrew McCarthy and Robert Downey Jr. and the girl, her name is Jamie Gertz. They are all childhood best friends, high school best friends, and Andrew McCarthy ends up going to college while Robert Downey Jr. and the girl stay back. And they start to get into drugs, particularly Robert Downey Jr. He really gets sucked down that hole, and I think it just kind of shows that after high school your friends go down different paths. We all choose to do different things, and some of us get sucked into that part of life. So it just kind of shows Andrew McCarthy coming back and trying to understand what's going on and trying to help his friend but not really sure what to do. And it kind of just shows this spiral of Downey Jr. in the movie. Can't say enough about it, and especially if you're at that age, I just think is something that would be absolutely important for you to watch. So again, that is Less Than Zero. So the second movie I want to recommend to you guys is The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and it stars Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. It's basically about a time period when you can go to a place and have your memories removed. So if you want to forget that your dog died, or forget a relationship, or forget a job you had, you can go to this place and they will erase the memories for you. It has Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. They were boyfriend and girlfriend and they broke up, so Kate goes to get her memories removed. Jim Carrey realizes this, so then he chooses to go get his memories removed. Then it kind of shows like as it's happening, he doesn't want it to happen. Like he wants to remember her and he doesn't want to forget about her. That's kind of what the movie is, and it just kind of shows him trying to fight to keep his memories. I really feel like the I don't know, I don't want to be like the lesson in this movie is, but I think it does show that even with memories that come with pain, they are important. This is a great one, especially if you want a little bit of romance too. Kate Winslet, Jim Carrey is like the perfect duo. Okay, so the next one I want to recommend is a little bit of an older movie, but it is Rear Window, and it's an Alfred Hitchcock movie starring James Stewart, an older James Stewart. This is one of my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movies. I mean, any movie by him is going to be good, but this is one of my favorites. It stars James Stewart, oh, and his girlfriend in it, Grace Kelly. Obviously, everybody knows Grace Kelly. She's great too in this. Basically, James has both of his legs are broken, so all he can do is sit in his apartment, and he's very bored, so he decides to take binoculars and spy on his neighbors. It's set in the city, so there's the apartment building like that he can see through his window next to him, and he can see all of their windows, so he decides to spy on them throughout the day, see what they're doing. He's bored, he doesn't really have much to do, and then as he's spying, he thinks that one of the people that live over there is a murderer. And then it just kind of shows him and his girlfriend Grace Kelly going through the movie trying to see if he's a murderer and if he's gonna do it again, who he murdered, and trying to pick up all these clues. And it's a really cool movie. It was made in 1954, and it's so weird to see him so much older. I loved him in The Shop Around the Corner. obviously It's a Wonderful Life, just all those movies are so good. James Stewart is like my dream guy, my biggest Hollywood crush, but like the younger version of him, but he was just such a great guy. So I would really recommend this movie. I like this movie particularly late at night just because I find it like more like exhilarating, maybe a little bit more scary, and I like watching older movies at night for some reason too. I find them a little bit more calming. So this is definitely a great murder mystery kind of thing, and it's really just interesting to see him spying on his neighbors like and seeing all the stuff that they're doing, and it was in the 50s, so that's always really interesting too. And again, it is called Rear Window. So the next movie I want to recommend is Garden State. A lot of these are unopened. I bought them on DVDs so I could represent them in this video, but I have seen them, just so you know. So this stars Zach Braff, Ian Holm, and Natalie Portman. About this guy, Andrew, or Zach Braffel, I don't know. This guy who comes home after hearing that his mother died, and he kind of sees all of his, you know, childhood friends, and he seems to be really depressed and confused and sad about life. Then he meets Natalie Portman, and she is kind of like the super bubbly, childlike, funny, fun girl. Kind of opens his eyes a little bit, and I think it kind of she kind of lightens him up a little bit, and it just kind of shows him figuring out his depression, the causes behind it, and why he is this way, and trying to understand life. By the end, you can kind of tell that he's trying to feel a little bit more lighter and kind of understanding the root of his issues. And it kind of just shows that journey of that throughout the movie. I love this movie, especially if you're kind of struggling in your life and you're at that point maybe where you're in your 20s, 30s, and you're not really sure what to do, you know, if all your friends are getting married and having kids or whatever, and you kind of feel like you're not there yet, and that is Garden State. Okay, so this last movie I saved the best for last. When I used to watch movies, I feel like I didn't appreciate them as much as I should. When I started to really like get into them in high school, I think that like I liked them because they gave me something to watch, but I didn't like deeply appreciate them. When I watched this particular movie, it really opened my eyes to like cinematic universe and what a movie can really convey to you. That movie is Taxi Driver, starring a young Robert De Niro. It was made in 1976. You like ever look up those lists like must watch movies before you die or whatever, usually this movie will always be on it for like highly rated movies. This is a fantastic movie. This is probably, if I have a top 5, this would probably be my top 5 list. I just appreciate this movie so much because it got me into movies on a deeper level, but it just really made me appreciate movies. Again, very young and good-looking Robert De Niro, and he is a taxi driver, obviously, in New York City, and he feels very alone, sad, empty, depressed. He kind of makes this plot to kill a particular person, and you can see like he's starting to spiral. At first you think he's going crazy and that he's going to do something bad, and then he meets a very young Jodie Foster. She's like 16 or younger in the movie, but she's starting to prostitute. She ran away from home and he's concerned about her, I guess you could say. And so then that kind of takes him in a different direction. Even if you haven't seen this movie, you probably know the quote, "You talking to me?" I really like this movie because it really shows him spiraling, really shows how lonely he is in the beginning and what that can kind of do to the mind. In the end though, it's not what you think is gonna happen, and you're kind of like hoping that he doesn't do this really not so good thing, unless you're a little bit more sinister and you want him to. I feel like for me personally, I really enjoyed this movie so much because it was the first time I felt so connected to a character. I was in a not so good headspace at the time, and this just, again, I just felt so connected to him, and it was a weird feeling I had watching that movie, but a really interesting feeling that I never had before. And I think that's why I appreciate it so much, and it kind of opened my eyes to what movies can be for people. Yeah. Again, why do I keep getting so emotional? I love movies. Can you tell? These are more emotional movies, I think, but they really do suck you in and capture you, and I feel like these are just important movies to watch that I think any human can benefit from. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Today I wanted to recommend, what do I want to recommend? I'm gonna recommend The Big Lebowski. This is a more comedy movie, so if you want something that's not so serious, because I like, obviously those movies are a little bit more serious, this is hilarious. It's one of my favorite comedies. I'm pretty sure some of those movies are too, but this movie I think is in the National Film Registry. It's so good. It'll lighten your mood and make you laugh. So I would totally watch this, and it's called The Big Lebowski. If you liked that video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up. You could always subscribe if you wanted to. Comment down below if you watched the movies, how you like them, or if you've seen any of these movies and what your thoughts were on them. And I'm always trying to find new movies to watch, so any movie recommendations would be great. And again, thank you so much for watching.